Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue from having weekends. Where the haters at? Yeah, bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got HEX, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's lullaby music, really, right? It's hard to believe that something like this exists. I get it, but you just gotta come to terms with reality. It just exists. There's nothing we can do about it. Buy a steak and chill, baby. Shout out to Mark. This is Wales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash D, everybody. My God. Hex agents, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. What up, fam? Hope everybody's having an outstanding Sunday, and excuse me to my European counterparts that just got a little lazy today. Not gonna lie. Just wasn't feeling it early in the day. Had a lot of work to do early on, and this was unfortunately the best time. But they could watch it tomorrow morning. So shout out to them, my Australian homies, and everybody worldwide. It's getting hairy out there, you know. I mean, what's the best way to put it? They're not even hiding anymore, right? I mean, we see what they're doing every day, and the world is reacting, right? This is why now, nobody's afraid to say to hell with the dollar anymore, and this is very important for us to understand. Well, of course, to those that are not up late, right? What up, yeah? And this is important to understand because it's really going to impact the way that the West moves forward. And unfortunately for us, the working individual, we have a choice, right? But a lot of people don't realize that they have a choice. So the question becomes, what's next, right? Everybody keeps asking that question because we see what they're doing. And we know that they're trying to do what they're trying to do, right? They're not really trying to help anything. They're just trying to get their way, unfortunately. And if you've been paying attention, for the past 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, hell, 100 plus, maybe even longer, right? It never works out in our favor. And by our favor, I say, the people, us regular folk, that are just trying to get by, make a living, whatever have you. Everything always works in favor of the state and those elements that support the state. I mean, this is a concrete fact. This is not an opinion. So, You got to just understand that, because this is the game that we're playing in, plain and simple. And our objective is to try to win, right? I mean, I'm sharing all this information to give people an edge, because as normal individuals that are just working day in, day out, I can continue to say do your research, but fact is, people don't got the damn time to do the research. They can only do but so much. So, you know, I'll drop some hints here and there, but there's only but so much that I can do, because at the end of the day, you still have to make your own decisions and understand the situation yourself, right? Because I don't live your life. So that's why it's important to understand at least the bare minimum, so that you can at least make an intelligent decision. Because at the end of the day, everybody's going to do what they want to do, but you got to do what makes sense, and you got to do what's going to fatten that pocket, right? And speaking of fatten that pocket, let me speak on show my shit real quick. So as I told you guys probably a couple weeks ago, I'm writing this guide, right? Now, what is this guide? It's a lot. I didn't realize it was going to be as much when I thought about doing it, because this is shit I I do this in my sleep, right? So when I started writing this thing out, I'm like, holy crap, this is gonna take a long ass time. And I'm almost done with the first what I am calling a course. It's not really a course, but you can call it that, I guess. But the first thing is gonna be a segment on the rules of money per the richest man in Babylon, right? And while it might not be anything fancy, I will throw some good stuff in there in addition to those basic elements. But this is just all stuff to ground yourself in money, and understanding how you have to think about it, the importance of the basics, getting the basics right, the fundamentals, understanding your relationship with money, how you think about it, how you need to think about it. All these things are supremely fundamental. And I don't know if we really focus on that enough. So I'm just, we can't stream on that shit fucking forever, right? So I figured I write something that everybody can read and sit down and try to synthesize and internalize, because if you're really here to get paid, well, you might want to think about what that means, the implications of that on your life and your family and all that good stuff. What you need to do to better position yourself to handle that change of life, right? Because it's gonna be a change of life for a lot of people. And that's gonna require work. It's not just gonna be you wake up and it's just another day. No, shit changed, homie. You got to get with it. Stop pretending to be broke, because that shit is not forever. And if you want it to be, it sure as hell will be. But that's all based on your mental state. You know, I spent a good part of my day today just thinking. Sometimes it's what you got to do. Watch less TV, and if you do turn the shit on, ignore the fuck out of it. Vegetate. The shit. What value is it really adding to your life? Are you living the life you want to live? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you sometimes? Sometimes you really got to be selfish, and that will entail not engaging in pop culture. I mean, you can't do anything better for yourself than ignore pop culture. That's going to allow you to progress, because you're not going to be able to focus on BS. And these are things that you need to do, because there is nobody that's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to make you number one in whatever you want to do. Not a stream, right? Not even me. Me YouTubing ain't going to help me be rich. Me sharing the right information, having the right thought process, having the actionable facts at hand, right? Those are the things that are going to help me, because I can't act like if I don't know what to do and I'm over here telling you what to do. I mean, that don't make no sense. If I'm the guy giving the advice, clearly I should have an idea, right? Or at least the steps that you should be looking towards, or whatever the case is. Thanks for the super chat, Jesse James. Your hints help plan the future for me. Thanks for everything you do, bro. Much respect, man. Just trying to share what I know, cause I know it's hard out there like a motherfucker. and I even write a little forward on the thing, like, why am I even writing this thing? Right? What's the point of this? Why would anybody care about reading through a guide for money? And it's plain and simple. Um, there's a lot of information out there. The question is, how much of it is valid, right? Do you have the time to sift through all of that information? And the answer is no, you don't. You know what I mean? You really don't. Um, so the first step is in understand the money, right? You can't deal with money if you don't understand it. It's gonna slip through your hands. Trust me, I've been there before. 6, 7 figures, poof, gone. If you don't know what you're doing, shit gonna disappear quicker than you got it, because that's just the nature of the game. It's not your fault. You didn't know what to do. You just spending it. You didn't think about anything on the other side of that because you thought you were gonna have more coming in. But it don't work like that. You need, when you hit a lick, you gotta learn how to stop, pause, reassess, and generate. Put that shit to work. No questions asked. Right? So once you got that money, then what? Well, you gotta understand how to look at markets, how to analyze markets, what's going on. Right? So I'm writing something on that. And then once you know how to look at markets, well, you got to understand how to manage that risk, right? How are you going to allocate your capital, right? How are you going to limit your exposure, right? How are you going to structure something that makes sense to you? Because it's not about what makes sense in general. It's about what makes sense to you. And this is important because it's so easy to get caught up in generic minutia, right? And we can Google our hearts to death and Investopedia everything and all of that. But until you get out there and you don't take, steps to see what's what, you're not going to really know what you can do, what you can't do, or anything. I mean, there's still people that don't know the difference between a fork and a snapshot. I mean, this is crazy. It's crazy. We're out here shilling PulseChain and we don't even know what the fuck we're shilling. I mean, it's crazy to me. I don't even understand that. But hey, apparently people got better shit to do than learn about what's going on. I don't know, but hey, those are gonna be the billionaires of the future, apparently. Sure. Yeah. I keep rocking with that one. Uh, you do that. Yeah. Because again, attention to detail, man. It's one thing to not care and act like it don't matter, but it kind of does. This is crypto. And even before I even put the link out for the stream, I made a very salient point. Blockchain charts and crypto and macro charts, because they're not the same. To sit here and pretend that these 5,000 cryptos that exist out here floating around, gyrating fucking fractions of a cent at a time, is the same thing as the 5,000 stocks that are floating around. The fuck is wrong with you? You gotta be some type of special dumb to think they're the same. I mean, just stop everything you're doing and then quit and go back to the drawing board and start over, because you're going down the wrong path. Is going to lead you to ruin. Straight up. Because if talking markets was the same as talking crypto, why would we even care that it shuts down? Why would we care about the utility? Why would we care about anything about it? Why would the fact that it works or doesn't work matters? I mean, you just got to pause yourself before you say what you're saying sometimes and think before you speak. You feel me? Because, sometimes we say things without thinking. And I understand there's money being put to work here. Of course. Of course, there's money being put to work here. We're trying to digitize money. think about what that entails. That's not a one facet situation. And I think that the lack of people's understanding of money is the problem there. It leads us to think that there is no difference between allocating money to utilitarian tools, which is what money is. It's a utilitarian tool, FYI. That's what money is. Why does money exist? Money literally exists to remove the friction from the transfer of value between humans. If you want a freaking cow and all you got is bows and arrows, well, that's not going to really be much of a trade, is it? Unless that cow person, that cow owner, literally wants them bows and arrows. You're going to have a problem. And that's really all it boils down to. Simply put. So if you meet somebody that got butter and you got eggs, but y'all don't want neither, what y'all going to do? Keep it moving. So how are we going to transfer value? I mean, this is the basic question, right? That humans grapple with for a long time. We all work to make money. We don't work to fucking hang out. We really don't do that. So I really can't comprehend why people can't take this shit here seriously. You think you're gonna get fucking rich and just fuck off? It's crazy to me. I mean, you can, for sure. Of course you can. But what do you think the end result of that is gonna be? Now, I ain't your mom or your pops, but you might want to listen to them on this one. Because I guarantee you they be telling you the same shit. And at the end of the day, the objective of taking this time out to educate yourself by wasting time on YouTube is to not continue to waste time. Because I know I don't like doing it personally. And I don't mean streaming, I mean just continuously having to work. And in the sense that I'm doing things I don't want to do. Right? Maybe you don't want to do this. Maybe you're doing it because you think you have to. That's something you got to look at and be honest with yourself about. I live, breathe, eat, sleep, yada yada. I don't give a fuck about nothing else. This is me. And my life has been this, whether I wanted it to be or not. And that's just what it boils down to for me. So I know where I stand. Do you know where you stand? Are you willing to put in the work that's required to be a person of wealth and stature? I know that I have a personal problem with people having fucking eyes on me. I don't like that shit. So I don't care for people's attention. And that's me. So I have to contend with that issue because I still choose to do what I'm doing. And that's going to bring attention to me, whether I like it or not. Because I'm helping people and I choose to continue to do that. So I have to contend with the repercussions of choosing to do that. See, there is good and bad at all turns in life. Right? And if you want to be an individual that is trying to take control over their domain, trust me when I tell you, it's not going to be easy. But you can do it if you want to. And don't let the speed bump stop you, because that's all they are, no matter how bad they might seem at that point in time. Because everybody has a bad day. No matter how bad it is, you're going to get through it. Right? Especially if you're not alone. You're going to get through it. And you just have to be willing to do that shit, though. Because if you're not, man, you're going to just stay down when you get knocked down, aren't you? And, yo, we get knocked down all the time. So you got to be willing to get up daily. Every day ain't a win. Even in HEX.GO, right? Because you got to go outside of HEX.GO sometimes and do shit that you don't want to do. So we all here to change our lives, not just talk crypto. Crypto is the medium that's going to allow us to change our lives. So let's do our best to understand what this crypto thing is so we can actually move the ball forward how we want it to be moved forward. Because if we don't, believe you me, some fuckface will. And you're not going to like what that fuckface is going to do. Because that's why they're a fuckface in the first place. So let's be adults about this shit. I mean, hold up. Speaking of adults, yeah, I know everybody saw Bitch Boy chasing down one of the biggest scammers in the industry to shake his hand. Now, let's not motherfucking pretend like that shit didn't happen. Because I see a lot of y'all out there sucking his dick. So I'm going to need y'all to stop that. Or just get the fuck out of here. Because that's some next level whole shit right there, bro. Like, wow. Wow. We're going to pretend that this scammer is cool. Wow. I mean, this is the guy that sat there called Hex a scam, called Richard a scammer, and all types of shit. This guy runs to this motherfucker like a little hoe to shake his hand. Now, I'm going to say this again. We are the number one crypto. But we sure as hell aren't the number one community with some of the people we got in this motherfucker kissing ass out there. Especially Bitch Boy's ass. Now, we got to understand, we the community, we're not Richard Hart. Richard Hart is the face. Richard Hart has to deal with his bitch ass. We, community, we don't got to tolerate no hoe shit. Now, if you want to tolerate hoe shit, you want to be a hoe, that's your problem. You know, if the shoe fit, wears it. Because I sure as hell seen a lot of people acting like he's on our side lately. Now, you know, ain't really shit to say. But you a dumbass if you think that fool on our side, especially after watching that man run after a scammer to shake his hand like a little hoe. I mean, ew. Have some self fucking respect. Or don't call yourself a Hexican. Wholeness permeates. Woo! Crazy, folks. Crazy. Mind who you fuck with. Because it's real out here. Because that's the one thing that people don't get about crypto. There is no allegiances to anybody or anyone or anything here. And you see it in real time. These people will sell their asses for a cent. Fuck $1. They don't care. And there's plenty of people in this community, in that camp, and you see them. Don't act like you don't. And for those of you that think it's cool to fuck with people like that, don't think you're a Hexican because we watching. And you're not. You can pretend all you want over there in left field. That's cool. We don't care. But we know what's going on. And that's the whole point. You know, at the end of the day, people are going to pretend all they want. But as an individual, which is what crypto is about, make sure you understand where your money's at. Whole lot of pretend artists out here. So make sure you're understanding what you're doing when you're out here perusing the crypto markets. Because it's one thing to be in Hex. This is the easiest trade of all time. But once you step outside these realms and you don't really know what you're doing, it gets a little hairy. Very hairy. And this is part and parcel one of the reasons why I'm writing this guide. I mean, I stopped at risk management. After that comes into market analysis. And I'm going to throw crypto in there because crypto is something that people don't really know how to look at. They think they do, right? And again, it's about where capital flows to. It's not about what you think. It's never about what anybody thinks. It's about what is the market doing. I stopped for a reason because that's what matters. Not your opinion. Your opinion is going to make you broke. That's why I can talk about Hex because I don't got to share my opinion with that shit. And people fail to realize that. They think that their opinion matters. And this is why they will run into hard times. Have fun. Not my problem. Guiding motherfuckers is straight generational wealth. Ain't nothing to think about over here. Buy and go to sleep. See you motherfuckers in 15 years and you're rich later. It's that simple. I mean, you already seen what Hex is doing since launch. Never mind the all-time low. We don't need to look at the all-time low. Just look at it from launch to now. Hell, I got a chart on my site. Fuck, let's look at it. Why not? Why not? Let's start with the basic charts. Now, I didn't get to update them because when I was gonna, the damn site wasn't ready yet. So you'll just have to deal with what's there from this morning. Sorry, guys. And thank you for the super chat again, brother. Appreciate the 20 spot. Yes, I try not to lie. Because I'll tell you what, I spent a long time being lied to, man. That shit don't pay the bills. And people don't know how to do anything but lie. I mean, we see it all day in crypto. Crypto is nothing but lies. So, these are things you got to be aware of. Now, this is for yesterday's crossover, the 15th. And the price was $7.87 or $7.87. What a Freudian slip. Sometime soon, folks. It's coming. No worries. But that was a price yesterday. What's today's price? Let's see. 7.5 cents. So we're a little lower. But that's all right. Looks like we just got a nice little what do they call this? Wedge. I mean, it's pretty much a bull pennant forming here. And these patterns typically lead to explosive moves. So we'll see what happens. We already know what's going on. We have the fundamental catalyst behind it with PulseChain, PulseX dropping soon, maybe, whatever. There's a lot of catalysts, a lot of things that could just snap this thing to back to all-time highs. So, be mindful of that. Because if you're trying to play the short game and you're thinking that this thing is going to roll over lower, I'd be mindful of that because the RSI is not giving us the same look. While it might look weak at the moment, you have to understand that its structure is positive, right? The market is positive. It keeps bouncing off the 40, 35 area in conjunction with the mid-band, 45, 55 area. So these are all things you got to pay in mind too. when the market is trending in a certain direction, because these are the things that continue to support the trend, believe it or not. And I know I spent a long time playing myself, in short, thinking that we could call tops, right? I mean, this is a top call, it's a top call, it's a top call, it's a top call to a certain extent, right? Top, 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 top. But what does the market keep doing? It keeps going up. You keep catching these little moves real quick, and yeah, that's cute. I feel you. But you missed this whole damn move this whole time. And I mean, and this is what we do as young traders when we're not paying attention to what's going on in the field. This is why this notion of trading that people have, where it's all microscopic and you're doing it for the minute and all this crap they see on TV or whatever, is so far from the truth. And this is why trading gets a bad rap, because it's so far from the truth. And thank you for the super chat, St. Reed. Appreciate you, man. That's it. Buy, stake, hold, grow. Generational. And that's right. That's the only strategy. I mean, damn. I don't know why people think it's that hard. It's really not. Don't you wish you can go back to 2010, take $1,000, buy 10, 20, 30, 40, 100,000 Bitcoin, whatever it would have been, with $1,000 at the time. I can't remember the price. And just fucking forget about it. And then look at the price now. Now, after an 80% dip, after a 100% move off the low. Like, come on, people. What is wrong with y'all? Why must we fight ourselves so hard? I mean, we do this to ourselves. We beat ourselves into submission to not give ourselves what we want, not knowing that's what we're doing. And the fucked up thing is that we do it in more ways than one, and we don't even realize it. Because here we are with this prime opportunity that is HEX to replicate Bitcoin, Ethereum, easy peasy, with no thought, to the point where you can lock it up for a specific amount of time and not even have to think about it. But what do people do? Oh, well, let's go to the charts. I mean, fuck. Let's just go to the charts, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what we got to do. We had an amazing run, right? This was big payday to 50 cents. So this was 0.2 to 50 cents. I'll repeat. 0.2. That's a 0 spot 002 all the way to 50 cents. Spot 50. That's a lot of X's, folks. One move. 200 days. 250 days, whatever it was. I mean, how do you not play for something like that? Right? Now, the hard part is dealing with these long, drawn out bear markets, because the problem is we only see a partial image of the market here. We don't have a whole image of the market. This is just after big payday. Something to think about. And this is just after big payday. We're conjunction of the mining hex percentage and the quantity that's being mined. And right now we have 61.6 billion, I think. Yeah, I think it's 61.6 billion. Yeah, that's the number. Being mined. But as you guys can see, there's been an exodus lately, right? Not a lot of people sticking around to mine for one reason or the other. But they'll figure it out. Or not. 12.71 hex at 7.87 cents. And this is the performance of $1 invested in each T-share, HEX, ETH, BTC since HEX launched in December 2nd, 2019. And as you guys can see, there's really not much of a contest going on here. T-shares are blistering everything. We're just going by the regular price, right? 1 day, short term, the cost, whatever. The HEX unstaked, right? Just plain old HEX, liquid, ETH, and BTC. And, whatever. You see the data, right? And these are the things you got to think about. How do you make an easy 300x? How? Right? Look at the difference in the price structure, right? The unit bias, right? I mean, all these things, time, right? Length, liquidity, all these things make a whole picture, right? They paint a mosaic. And it's important that as an individual, you understand that it is not the picture that you think, because those pictures that's painted for you, right? Like on the coin ranking sites, those are the scams that they're selling you. That's not the long-term win. It's just not. In fact, that brings to mind a tweet that I saw earlier that I want to pull up later on, but we're gonna get through these charts first, and then we'll get to that tweet. Correlation heat map. You read this across and down. So hex to hex, correlation is going to be 1, right? Hex to T-share, correlation is going to be 1, right? Hex to ETH, correlation is going to be 20%. Hex to BTC, correlation is 18%. Now, this is all time. Okay? This is all-time history. We're going to run up on some rolling day charts now. This is basically the moving average, 21-day moving average for the correlations between HEX and BTC, T-share BTC, HEX and ETH, T-share and ETH, and then HEX and the T-share, which is up here, this horizontal line, which is what you pretty much want to see, because everything else is kind of null and void. We just care that the T-share only goes up, which we know is the case, and that the correlation is consistent, right? I mean, of course, you're going to have little glitches here and there, and that's fine. But the idea is that over time, it's consistent to 1, and that everything else is kind of independent. So it's going to do whatever it's going to do. Not much we can do about that. But our concern is primarily this market, right, and how it operates. We cannot control or determine anything about BTC or ETH because those markets don't work like HEX. So we can't pretend that they do. And that's important to understand, because that's a key difference in understanding one asset class versus another, or one piece of software versus another, which is really the correct vantage point. Give me a second, guys. So yeah, these are things that you got to really keep in mind as we go through time, right? Because correlations are going to be variable; they're not fixed, right? Because as you guys can see, when Hex was going through his ramp, the 21-day correlation pretty much changed like every 10 days, right? But then when you go out to the 34-day, it's not the same point of view, right? The variation is much longer. And that's because the moving average is much longer. So it's going to be even less of a variation in the 55-day. But when you look at the 55-day, what stands out to me the most is how Hex just diverged versus everything else, right? And then everything slowly converged, right? And then everything became positively correlated during the bear market, as we saw. And lately, we've been seeing a divergence in terms of correlation, which is good because that's what you want to see. And this is basically the beginning of the bull market right here, right? And not a surprise because Hex does his own thing. It's just important to understand that that's how Hex operates, because there's just a lot of false assumptions out there, with how things work versus how you want them to work, right? Um, and that's how we really make these important breakthroughs and understanding is by having clarity in the information that we need, right? Because we're not trying to, this shouldn't be like cracking a code, right? It really shouldn't be. This should be something that's straightforward. Um, the information should be out there and it's not, it's hidden. It's a lot of things that we as individuals have to contend with, right? To get the right set of information to make the right decisions. It's not easy to be in this field and try to learn the right way to do the things, the right way to analyze a protocol, essentially, is the correct term. Because we're led to believe that we could just, you know, take a gamble. Hell, I saw a tweet yesterday that was essentially just to paraphrase, yeah, there's no reason to pick one coin, pick them all. Like what? That don't make no sense at all. There's literally 5,000 coins out there. How you supposed to pick 5,000 coins to invest in? You got that much money, then why are you even doing that? Do something else. I don't understand. It just don't make any sense. But that's what they want to pitch people. Put $10 in every coin. Put $5 in every coin. Knowing damn well it's gonna cost you 50 to get to every coin. I mean, come on, man. You gotta understand you getting scammed at some point in time. Some things you gotta learn over time. Just how to not get scammed because crypto is full of that. It's full of that. T-share rate 26,844. I don't think it's changed. Let's double check. 26,844. Looks like that is up. Yeah, I think it's still the same. I'm not seeing any changes, so yeah, I guess it hasn't changed since yesterday. But I'm definitely not seeing any. No, yeah, 20. Okay, I guess I got the last change. Yeah. Well, that's that for the T-share rate changes. For now, anyway. Last change was 6.7 hex. So, as you guys can see, well, we'll get to that chart in a little bit. Payout steady increasing because there's a steady drop in the T-share rate. I got a chart for that too. We'll come to in a little bit. T-share price over 2,000. Man, that's a rent. And this is why you gotta take advantage of them when they're cheap. I mean, they were at $400 for a few days, and people act like it was the plague. They didn't want nothing to do with it. I'm sure they regret that now. But yeah, this is how we learn. We learn from pain, and monetary pain. It's a hell of a way to learn a lesson, unfortunately. But we gotta learn, right? And that's the point. Fiat payout. So what I'm doing on this chart is tracking the hex price versus the payout per T-share and multiplying it by the price at the close. And that blue line is what the payout would be, right, on this side, this scale. And that's what we would get. Average payout per T-share. Now this chart, this red line is going to be the cumulative average. So the average of every single instance that's seen a payout, which is every day. And the 21 day, 34 day, and 55 days are up here. And there's always pop, reset, pop, reset, pop, reset. And always higher, right? Because the cumulative average is always higher. And we know there's always less T-shares in the system because people just are getting out right now. And it makes it even more onerous to get back in once you get out because of the cost. So, it's a double-edged sword once you get out. And this is the amount of hex for one T-share, 6,350 hex for one T-share. So if you've been staked since day one, congratulations. You've racked up a nice sum there. And the average mining length is almost at 7 years. Hasn't been this high in a while, if ever. But I'd have to look back. I don't remember. But I don't think it's been this high ever. Cumulative change in T-shares. Now this is since big payday. And I think this is really capturing everything that's happened since it's been liquid. I think it might have been higher before this. Well, the system was brand new, so I don't really care. But since big payday, we have lost a total of 838. I mean, 838,456 t-shirts. That's a lot of t-shirts. People crazy. They're not paying attention, and that's why it's a game of attrition. Important to understand that. Cumulative change in current holders since the start of the bear market to now, 81,147. Change in miners since the start of the bear market to now, 61,396. Current holders, this is the change in current holders over time, the rate of change. As you guys can see, we had a nice consistent positive bump, right? This was over the zero line for a while, and it caused price to elevate for a while. What we didn't see was a growth in the miners for the same rate, right? We didn't see that, unfortunately. So that's where you get these erratic price drops from, just so you can understand that if you're new, because that's pretty much how that cookie crumbles. So yeah. Staker retention, 77%. People keep leaving. At one point we were at 78. At one point we were at 79. At one point we were at 80. At one point we were higher than that. But people don't get it. They haven't learned it yet. They're not learning, maybe. I don't know. We'll eventually find out. We've lost a total of 35,792 miners, RIP, versus those of us that have stuck around at 120,634. Just the way it goes. Delaying gratification is not for everybody. You know what I mean? So this is liquidity pool charts, and we're only tracking HEX versus ETH and USDC here. Yesterday HEX was 57% of the pool, which is why you're seeing pressure on the price. But we're still at near highs, right? We're really only about 40% off highs, so not too bad. USDC and ETH are 33 and 11% of the pools respectively. So, not that much, but they're there. So this chart is showing the pressure of the fluctuations in the value of HEX, right? So when HEX was going down, this red line going up meant HEX was being sold, while the yellow line going down meant that HEX was being sold. And vice versa when it was going up, right? This line was going down and this line was going up. So that's pretty much how you read it. Not much more to it than that. And it's just really highlighting the pressure, and it even kind of calls it the tops. You can kind of see it here, see it there. And you can kind of see it here too. But here was more like a stress market, right? Like the market was stressed, the liquidity was stressed because there was really nowhere for it to go, the pressure. It was kind of tapped out to the point where the market just grinded higher until it couldn't anymore, and liquidity eventually just tapped out. And that's kind of what we see there. So the actual minute inflation, I like going through this all the time because people really get it twisted, right? The annual inflation is 3.69. And I think, we're at 2.34 years, 2.35, something like that. So technically we should be at 8.63. All right. Let me just copy paste that. Divided by, what was that? 6.33, right? Minus 1. Yeah. Oops, did it backwards. New minus old. I always get it wrong. I'm gonna do it backwards. There we go. So 26% short of everybody's, so 27% short of everybody's ridiculous expectation of what inflation actually is. So something to think about. Cost of a T-share. So this is cost of one T-share, cost of two T-shares, and the cost of three T-shares, basically. All right here. Color coded for you and everything. And this is the goodie chart, right? How much goodies are we getting every day? Net payout per T-share, no penalty rewards. All right, this is what we want to know. Give me a second, guys. I'm getting a call. And it's just me and I don't have any backup, so give me a second. I'm gonna put what do you call it? The everybody done told you. So give me a second. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all's deep. Everybody. My God. Hex.Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar cost told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. Yeah, so let me repeat that. Thanks for the heads up, guys. I just happened to look down. Um, so let's see. All right. So what's the catch here, right? This, I guess, red line. This is what I was saying earlier. I know I'm not muted anymore. Confirm that you guys hear me, please. Thank you. Can you guys hear me? All right, good. So the idea behind this chart is this is the actual payout per t-shirt. This is what we're used to seeing. This color. So this color is what's actually what you get to see. The white line is what is actually going on behind the scenes. Right? So this is the reality. This flat line suppresses what's actually going on because this is the alpha, right? This is the penalty per T share, the additional. But under the hood, t-shirts are already deflationary. We're already in escape velocity, and nobody even understands that. It's important that you do, as a participant in the system, when everyone is exiting like there's a plague. I mean, I don't know what's going on with people, but they've missed the plot entirely. And all that means is more for us, clearly. So the more players that exit the system, the more that those that stick around win. It's a game of attrition. And what that means is he who stands to, to the last round wins, basically. So this chart is showing the T-share rate changes impact, and as you guys can see, it's predominantly a function of time, because the amount of staking and the direction of the staking, whether it's up or down, does not have an impact on the increase in the rate change, on the change rate increases, because they're always going to be up. It's never going to be down. It's always going to be zero or up, right? It's never going to be negative. So that's important to understand. And here we're looking at the T-share market cap versus the HEX market cap, and we're still chugging along higher, over time. And the T-share market cap is just the number of T-shares multiplied by the dollar value of T-shares at 2,000, right, at one T-share. T-share market cap versus total value locked. Total value locked is just all the HEX is staked. And as you guys see, that number is decreasing significantly, right? So the T-shirt market cap versus total value locked is, of course, going to reach all-time highs. And we're at 4.36 to 1 in that aspect, meaning we got more T-share value in market cap from a market cap perspective than we have value in HEX staked for to a value of 4 to 1. So if you want to think about it from one perspective, right? That's one way of saying that T-share is a forward value 4 to 1 to HEX today, right? If there's a T-share, if there's a HEX from a T-share in there, right? It's 4 times the value of 1 in some respect, because that's a function of that, right? Because that cost is embedded in that time. You have to commit to 10 years at least before that cost is reduced, right? That's why I have that chart here. In order for your $2,000 T-shirt to cost you $700, you got to commit to 10 years. Otherwise, it's going to cost you that $2,000. So I think it's fair to only be able to presume the delta between the two to be a value of 4x, because you're committing to locking that up. You know you can't get it back. That's a commitment. And that's the valuation in that commitment. It has to be a 4x, because that's a lot of money, right? Over time. So the mining HEX per T-share is at 61.55. And of course, we got people leaving, right? So that means that there's more here to pick up, less people in the way. Because before, it was all the way up to 6,500 almost, or past it, really, right? So there was just less to go around, right? That's one way of looking at it. Because now we're getting more HEX per T-share, and there's less people in the market. Right. So these are things you got to think about. Game of attrition. Now, this is just so you can have a whole perspective on the T-shirt rate. It started at 10,000, and this is what this flat line means here. 10 to 4. Right? That's just one with the 4 zeros. So that's 10,000. And now we're all the way up here. This chart is strictly for perspective. T-shirt, right? It used to cost nothing. Now, 2,000. Perspective. This is the total T-shares available, right? As of last night, it was 4,061. And that total T-shirt change was 209 T-shirts, right? I mean, at one point we had main T-shirts just sitting out there. Nobody gave a rat's ass. Now there's only 4,000. Something for y'all to think about. And finally, the histogram chart, and I changed it back to blue because I just thought it was better to look at than in the green. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It isn't me. Let me know if not. But I think that right now we're at 7 cents, so we can kind of see that a little bit better, right? Because this chart really called out, it screamed the bottom when we were at it. I don't think anybody really believed it, but I was telling y'all, and that's what it was. So here we have the how the ROI is paid out in the staking pool, right? Because when we stake, we expect a payout. How does that work? Well, the way it works is that if right now we have 9.5% versus 10 or 9, so we're right in between. We're probably at what would that delta be? 37, 4, that's 4. So that'd be what? 37 plus 2 is 39. So we're probably about 39.5% or 39.05%, right? 39.05%. In terms of a payout, maybe 39 percent APY, right? So that means we're somewhere over here, right? That's what that means because that's how it works. And the less people that are in the system, which is what this scale is down here, more the payout we receive. Hell, who knows? Maybe we'll only have 5% in this thing by the time all the fake stakers are done, and we'll be eating really good. I won't be mad. I know that's a fact. So holla, do whatever you got to do because I understand math. Luckily for me, I mean I don't really know how to put it, but that's important to understand because while we're out here shilling this thing, the reality is that we're doing them a favor because we end up getting less. But people think it's the opposite. I don't understand. But whatever. More power to them, I guess. Let's look at what ETH and Bitcoin are doing. So I got 1 day chart, upper left, 3 day chart, upper right. Lower left is 5 days. Lower right is 8 days. Now you guys just sit there and chew on that for a little bit. Let me know what you see and we'll get into it. Because it's important that you guys internalize these points of views, right? These long-term point of views are what drive the market. It's not your opinion. It's capital flows, right? And this is the cookie, right? That helps us all eat. Is understanding where the money is going to be before it gets there, so we can position ourselves accordingly. That's the objective. It's not to have an opinion. It's to have an understanding of where the money is going to go so we can get there before it. This is why you got to be in crypto because fiat money is DOA. Officially DOA now. I mean, if you don't get that by now, I don't know that you're paying attention because the signs are literally everywhere. I mean, we can see, and we're going to run through these charts, these futures charts in a little bit. We can see how commodity prices have been down for months on end. However, your cost of living has not gone down, has it? Surely has not. And these are things you got to understand. Because at the end of the day, the market doesn't care. And this is really the most salient point that I think anybody can take away from any market stream. Don't matter whose it is. At the end of the day, it's critical you grasp that the market doesn't care. It's going to do whatever it's going to do. And you have to contend with that because the market doesn't care. I mean, that's why it takes a long time to be able to actually do anything constructive in the market as an individual, like living off the market. Like, that's not easy. And this is why it's important to learn the basics, right? All right. So, you guys take a look at this 8 day per candle chart. Pretty obvious what's coming next, right? I mean, I don't really think I got to spell it out. ETH chart. All right. I mean, I think this is all time. Let's take a look. Nah, we're missing like the ICO days, but this is like when it hit the chain or whatever. I can't remember what they call it in over here in crypto land, but that's when it hit like the main net or whatever. But yeah. So I guess long story short, as I explained previously, right? Every market takes this trajectory over time, right? It's just a matter of whether you're willing to ride it out. A lot of people are not. If we go to Bitcoin, it's going to be the same deal. Longer term chart. What a coinky dink. So for all of those of you out there that think you got better shit to do than to stake for 15 years when you're fucking young, you know, I'm damn near a 40-year-old man. I'd like to know what the fuck you got to do that you think you can't stake for 15. I mean, you just don't understand the decision you're making, unfortunately. And I know because I was that young knucklehead. Fact of the matter is, you don't understand the math yet. That's a fact. Period. And again, let's go back to the to the tape, right? Because people will say I'm an opinion sharer. No, we're going by the data. I don't need to share my opinion. Data says it all. Hell, why am I even going this way? We can just go right here. We don't need to look at the price. 9.5% of all the liquid hex is staked. That's it. 9.5%. That means if we take this number divided by this number, we're going to get the total amount of hex that's liquid and out there. Let's see. 61, what? 63, 1, 2, 1927. All right, let's check that. Give me a second, guys. We're gonna just check. Where is it? Ah, here we go. Total hex supply 648 billion, yada yada. Let's see what we got here. 648.769. So I was off by a couple hundred million. Not bad for a rough estimate, right? But this is so you guys can understand how you can quickly assess something without having to do the math. You know, I did that, then proved it to you, right? And now you learned how. Because that's what it's about. It's about being able to make these quick checks and understanding what's going on. I mean, this is how you can make a claim like the one that I'm making, where I can say people in this community or whatever in crypto, whatever you want to call it, they don't understand what staking is or they don't understand delaying gratification. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand what their mission is. They don't understand their why. They don't understand a lot of things, unfortunately. And their activity, their on-chain activity, lets us know that's the case. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Because everybody is here because of Bitcoin. Period. Tell me I'm wrong. So you can smack yourself because I'm clearly not. Everybody talks about Bitcoin, right? Everybody ain't talking about Hex. They talking about Bitcoin. So why the hell won't you want to replicate the Bitcoin trade? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, but that's what's going on. So, salute, whatever. So, anyways, the objective of me showing these crypto charts was so you can grasp what the actual mission is and what I'm talking about, because this is all I'm talking about. When I talk about interim stuff, meaning short term speculation stuff, it won't even be in crypto. It's going to be in legacy stuff. And I'm going to let y'all know because I'll have that guide complete in y'all hands. Only after that point in time will we ever be talking about speculating. Because crypto is not a market to be speculating in. And that's something you guys got to understand. That's why Binance exists, to sucker all you fools into giving your money away. Because you're too lazy to just take that one little extra step to know the difference between a stock and a crypto. You don't understand how many people out here think they're the same. So far from being the same. And I'm probably one of the few people that'll publicly state that. Because they're not the same. Categorically not the same. Period. End of story. I mean, it's just disgusting for anybody to think that they're the same. In fact, let me go to this tweets that I wanted to show you guys earlier that I completely agree with. That's from one of our Hex OGs. Her name is Rose Craft Tagami or some shit like that. She's Japanese. So I don't know if I'm saying it right. Because I don't speak Japanese. Tagami Rose Craft is her handle. Let me pull the tweet up. And she's smart, so shout out to her. We got a bunch of smart people. Luckily for us. But I just think it's an important to people to see because this is some shit I would say. And I'm tired of saying shit like this, but people are so fucking stupid that they don't get it. They think it's what they want it to be. And no, you're wrong. It's not what you want it to be. It's not about you. You literally do not fucking matter in this function. This is about fixing the fucking money. This is not about you and your opinion. Period. So how does the tweet go? Cryptocurrencies should never be looked at as community tokens. Fact. The most important aspect about a crypto is whether or not it serves some function and has product market fit. If it does not, memeism and community will not hold that crypto together in the long run. I mean, I don't even understand where the debate is. That's a fact. Bitcoin and Ethereum don't even have communities. The only thing making them popular are the the fiat scammers talking about them because they know it's easy to scam in that market because there aren't any regs. That's why I can tell you Raw Paul and so and so and so and so ain't shit because I already know, fools. I come from that world. I'm not asking you for your opinion on them. I'm telling you what the fuck it is. And these are the things that people do not want to respect because they think that they know. And they don't. You don't know anything. You don't trade fucking options. You don't trade futures. You don't know shit about macro. You're over here fucking trying to act like you know crypto. I mean, you don't even know that. I mean, that's everybody in fucking fake crypto. And then half of this fucking community. And the downside is that it negatively impacts their pockets because they're out here putting their money in fucked up protocols where they're not getting their money back. It's not about hating because I could care less what you do with your money. It's about you walking into landmines when you don't have to. And hey, you're going to do what you want to do, but I'm going to say what I want to say because I'm here to stop people from doing that. That's my only objective. I don't care about anything else because I know what that's like. I know what it's like putting your money in a fucking burn hole in a burn pit when you was like, damn, the fuck was I thinking? I mean, come on, everybody does it. So why would you opt to do it when you got a million people telling you no, don't do that? Why? And this is what people do, right? So this is why we talk about blockchain charts, right? We can talk about that. I mean, there's a difference, right, between what we do over here and what we do over here. These charts, they matter, of course, but they only matter from this perspective. And this is just one angle. Oh, you guys can't even see it. Shit. Hold on. Where is it? Here we go. Right. This chart. Oh crap. What did I do? So this chart only matters from this perspective, right? The dollar perspective, right? That's just one angle. The rest of this is the shit that actually matters. And I guess the nicest way to put it is this is what makes a market, right? You got people that been around from day one, man, and they're not gonna be around in year 15. I don't give a fuck how big they are right now. They're just not gonna be around in year 15 because they don't understand what they're doing because they got so much right now that they think is there forever, and they're not taking care of that shit. They're not. That's why they talk how they talk. That's why they act how they act. That's why they do the things they do, and it's evident, right? But it's only gonna be evident to a select few because we've already done that. So you guys got to understand in a lot of ways I'm really talking to myself. I'm not even talking to them. I already did the dumb shit. I already know the mistakes. That's why I don't got none, right? This is why I'm still a working man. This is why I'm working my way up in a different way. My something is not y'all something. I'm working towards a completely different level of shit. I've already had 7 figures. The shit is nothing. It means nothing. Because in today's world, 7 figures is nothing. Ask a millionaire, they'll tell you. Ask them. You don't gotta take my word for it. I don't got millions. You don't need to take my word for it. Ask a millionaire. How far the million stretch? Go ahead. They'll tell you. Just as good as a motherfucker making 100K. You ain't got shit. Especially if you don't know. Right? And a lot of people honestly don't. Why? Because they live above their means, not below. They overspend, not underspend. They live on credit, not off credit. All these things that are considered standard. Capiche? They're not standard. They're a trap. Now, don't get me wrong. If you know how to use credit, of course. Hell, I talked about this the other day. You must use it if you know how to, but you got to learn first because otherwise it just becomes a trap, right? This is why we got all this crazy stuff going on. No, let's get up out of here. And let's get back to these charts. Let's take a look at this macro picture real quick. So just looking at the E-mini, right? Just the S&P 500 futures real quick. Just outright. This market looks like it's getting ready to take off. Right, and it's similar to the other trading to the other page. I got 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, 8 day. Sorry, this is wrong. It should be 5 and 8. I knew something was off. Yeah, these are things. The big picture is very important in markets. And as new traders, unfortunately, we don't give enough weight to it. But it's really the most important vantage point because the big money operates off of that. They don't operate off of your 5 minute chart. They don't. You got to understand how to use the 5 minute chart. That's the thing. We're led to believe some nonsense about engaging markets. That doesn't matter. Opinion just doesn't matter. So okay, let's take some questions for a little bit because I'm just gonna talk macro for the rest of it, and that'll pretty much be it. See if there's any questions to address here while I got this stuff up. Yep, that's right. The math. And yes, this shit is lit. That is right. Sure is. Dun, dun, dun. All right, no questions. Cool. Oh, this nonsense. All right, so let's get this over and done with. You probably knew and don't know any better. So let's read out the question. Question goes, hi Wales, what's my opinion on SEC coming after DeFi with something about a law passed in 2020? I don't know what law that is because they haven't passed anything, so I don't know. But it behooves you to read the abstract of the Bitcoin white paper. Therein lies the answers to all your regulatory crypto questions. Plain and simple. And if that's too convoluted for you to grasp, what that means is there are no questions because there are no regulations that apply to actual crypto. Regulations can only apply to fake crypto. So mind where you stick your money. Mind where your mind what quote unquote protocols you put your money in. Because a lot of the time they're really not. Like Celsius, like FTX. I mean, the laundry list exists. Pick one. I'd rather not mention these trash scenarios in my streams because I only talk about alpha. I don't talk about weak shit. And, when you're doing real DeFi, you don't have to worry about what some third party thinks because it's irrelevant. Now, if you didn't know that about crypto, then you should probably stop everything you're doing and start back from square one because you don't know what you're doing yet. And that's important because what that means is you could be having your money in a protocol that you shouldn't have your money in. And that's not going to help you in the long term. So, something to think about. Because at the end of the day, there are no intermediaries in crypto, so I don't see how the SEC could get involved. 1 + 1 is 2. And thank you, because I was literally just thinking that. Hold on, fucking losers in the background. Finally, Jesus. All right. So yeah, man, that's really important for you to learn if you're new to crypto, because this is not that. This is not that. This is really not that. If you think this is that, stop. This is not that. This is not that. Yeah, this is not. This is not. If there's a company behind where you're putting your money in, that's not crypto. You might as well call it a stock. So in that case, the SEC can do whatever the hell they want because dumb fools said, "Yeah, come fuck with us," and that's something that you have to understand as an individual. Because I'm not going to be there to point it out to you every time. It's not my job to, and I don't care to. So you need to learn the difference between crypto and fake shit pretending to be crypto. Period. That's really the answer to that question. So yeah. And here we got crude. Oh, let's take this thing off log. Yeah, man, let's take this thing off log too. And again, this sold off pretty much for all of 2022, and all your bills went higher anyway. So tell me how that's working out for you, right? because it's not working out for anybody. And this is the thing that's actually happening, right? Real time to everybody. We're all feeling this pain. Nobody is not, right? If you're a working individual and all of that, you are feeling the pain of the cost of living increases because they're happening everywhere. Nobody is able to escape them. It doesn't matter if you're rich, you still got to pay more. Period. Everybody's paying more for everything. The difference between the poor and the rich is that the rich benefit because they own stocks and they own assets. Poor people don't own anything. That's the difference, right? So position yourself to be in the camp that owns stuff. That's really that's really the secret to life. And the funny thing is if you read the IRS code, it tells you as much. Go figure. And I mean, the funny thing is that they know people don't read, so they're not even worried about you because they know you're just gonna do whatever you're told, and you're not gonna go read. They know. That's why everything is in a book. Why you think everything is in a book? You think that's by coincidence? You think it's just so it's there for reference? Nah, it's because they know you're not gonna read it. That's literally the why. So you should probably internalize that and do something about it. Like maybe read something. I don't know. Something to think about. But once I figured that out, I did what I had to do. Cause that's pretty much how it goes, man. Nobody's gonna do it for you. So what are you gonna do? That's ultimately the question. Uh, and I just try to provide the information to kind of guide you there, right? Because we're all looking for the same thing. Some of us just, you know, are more serious than others about it. But ultimately, we all want the same thing. What's Cotton doing? Cotton looks like it's getting ready to roll up too. I mean, I would guess that all commodities look this way now that I think about it. Because why wouldn't they? They've been messing with the supply side of the situation for a while. Um, and now it's kind of been like a perfect storm this whole time, right? We got gold at all-time highs once again. Question is it going to stay up here, or are real rates high enough, i.e., positive? I don't think that they are, but I haven't checked in a while, so I would have to. Um, are they high enough to force a top in gold? And typically that happens when real rates turn positive. At least lately, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen like that this time, but that is the answer to that question, and I don't have the answer right now, but I'll get it eventually, I guess, because I'm curious. But it could be that no, we don't retrace. It could be that we just mark time up here, consolidate, and just keep ripping. I mean, we know what's going on, right? And it's just that time of, I guess, the era. Here is copper, and copper is back near all-time highs again, above $4. And it looks like it could be setting up for a move lower. Hard to say. But we'll be watching. At least I know I will. Word is they might even be dropping some options on these bad boys soon in the CME, so we'll see. So this is what I like to do. I like to speculate in these markets. I don't fuck with crypto. That shit is not for that. It's not for that. Like that shit you guys be trying to do, get rich real quick in crypto. That shit is not nah. I mean, hey man, if you get lucky, more power to you. But I just think there's better ways to make money in markets. Um, and yeah, they are. If you look, you'll find heating oil suspiciously lower, but probably will reach some terminal point once crude does. officially reverse. It was interesting. Let's see what lumber's doing. And lumber looks like it's getting ready to rip again. And this thing, when it gets going, man, I mean, it's a great trade when it gets going. It really, really is. And I don't think margins are actually that expensive. Um, but yeah, it's been a great trade over the past decade, really. If you've been paying attention, just trends nicely because it's just one of those markets that does. Um, Nat gas, this is one where you gotta kind of just be long on the back end months when it's time to play it, and just forget about it because this thing just it's crazy. It's very volatile. Gasoline, back near highs, damn near 280, right? And of course, it went lower for all of 2022, like everything else. And I'm up over here in the lower upper left. Let's get this out of here. Um, Man, did it really even have a bear market in 2022? It doesn't really look like it did. No, not really. Shit. Well, that sucks. So gasoline, so out of all the things that had a bear market in 2022, gasoline wasn't one of them. Oh, Joe. What is it? What do they call? What do they call him? Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, you could do better, bro. You could do worse, I guess. Hold on, let's see what he knows. Cause now I'm curious. Oh wow, even heating oil had a bull market. Damn, dude, you gotta really quit. Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. Damn. Alrighty, silver. Silver looking bull flaggy. And let me look at something. Let me look at something. Because I've been lazy on this. So let's ooh, damn. Okay. Let's take a look at this 21 day. Ooh, okay. So this is going back to 1971. So you know, what did I say earlier about long-term charts? Something about them being important. uh, yeah. I say again, you know, learn your basic chart patterns and understand that long-term charts matter because this is one hell of a pattern that if it takes off, and I mean, you got a cup and handle within a cup and handle within a cup and handle. I mean, this is just crazy. So if this thing takes off and we see above, we keep seeing this thing just make, poke its head up and make new highs, which it looks like it's setting up to do. I mean, we'll see. Because silver is a funky little thing. Let's look at what the dollar's doing before we look at everything else. And this is just 8 days per bar. So let's look on a closer term. Man, it looks like it has some downside. Somewhat. Maybe not, right? Let's see. Looks like it's hitting that range where it could start potentially finding the bottom and something to watch. We'll see. Interesting a spot though, right? That's for sure. All right, so let me not caught up in this chart. Let me not get caught up in this chart. Let's see what the yen is doing. It's been a while since I looked at the yen. Okay, looks like the yen is still weak. So dollar yen is strong versus dollar strong versus the yen. Let's see what the Swiss franc is doing. Interesting. Swiss franc is strong. That's a recessionary signal if I've ever seen one. Typically is. I mean, look at what happened during the 6 through 9 time period, right? Just so you guys can understand that I'm not making this up. So this is 2006 through 2009 or 11. And essentially, this was pretty much that point in time through which the Fed couldn't really get a grasp on the situation, or central banks, so to speak. Right? That's one way to think about it. Um, and this is what happened. And most people aren't going to be aware of this kind of stuff. This is really very macrocentric to know. But the Swiss franc is really the thing to keep your eye on for recessionary signals. And I mean, hell, there was one, and here was another one, right? We all know what happened in the early 2000s. I mean, the economy, Bush did his thing. Obama came through and, did some more. That's Bush, with some Obama thrown in there, right? And that's really all it's been. And Trump, whatever. And now we're gonna just see potential just take off. I mean, if it takes off, it's gonna be a sight for sore eyes because they do their damnedest to suppress this currency from taking off. They really, really do. Uh, I mean, I don't know if you guys understand how serious this is. I mean, when when this happened, let's go to a smaller chart. When this thing here happened in 2015, this was January 2015. I'm never gonna forget this. Um, so many funds blew up of all types. Rates, FX, whatever. All types of funds blew up that week. I mean, that thing reverberated in markets for years, because people thought, they could play the game, of whatever's pinned or whatever. And they didn't understand, that you couldn't play that game. And everybody was trading, the non-recessionary trend, and eventually it snapped. Because that's what happens in markets. Things snap when everybody goes in one direction. And ever since then, it's really been a one-way trade here. And what happens if this trade starts to unwind? That's not something that central banks are willing to let happen, I don't think. So I'm just pontificating at this point. Let me stop. Um, but it's something to keep an eye on. Indeed, this is mid cap stocks, and oh shite. Okay, well this is not bullish. I've actually been bullish on stocks lately, but this is not bullish. Uh, hmm. We'll see how this continues to develop. Because stocks usually go up, but this is not a bullish look for stocks at all. At least not mid cap. Look at the S&P 500 again. No, that looks a little different. Doesn't look like doesn't like mid cap. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Look at tech stocks. Looks the same as S&P 500. Looks bullish. Russell 2000, pretty much small caps, and that looks bearish as well. So small caps and mid caps look bearish. And I forget the rule there. Gonna have to look it up. There's a rule between mid cap, small caps. I don't remember if mid and smalls leads or not. Can't remember. See what VIX is doing. Not like it really matters, but it's good to look at here and there. And it's dropping. Whatever. I'm not even gonna deal with this chart, man. Nah, whatever. Let's look at bonds. Looks like that bear trend getting ready to commence. Might have another 8-day candle or two before we actually get ready for some rolling over action. But it looks like that bull trend might in fact be over. Let's yeah. Yeah. I guess so. All right, let's throw a channel on this thing. Let's see here. Yeah, I kind of want to go here. Let's shrink this a bit. Good enough. I mean, and I hate doing textbook like TA patterns because they don't always fit, every scenario. You got to kind of find your own thing. This is why I don't really like. I'm not a diehard like, oh, TA. Like, I don't really I don't really care. I'm just do whatever I see. Um, but of course, you had a channel, right? It's obvious there was a channel there. It wasn't a perfect channel, but there was a channel. You just gotta take it as it comes, right? And of course, you seem to have some type of channel now downward, right? Because something's keeping this thing from coming up. Um, right? Maybe multiple channels, right? Because markets are weird, man. Markets do weird things, you know. At least that's how I look at it. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Right, kind of leads back to that width, right? Interestingly enough, we got a joinee. On, on, on.
What's going on? I was just typing, just give me a heads up when you're going to bring me on, but here I am. Oh, shit. Hold on, I can't hear anything.
Heads up. That's what I said.
Okay, oh, gotcha. Hi, I hear you now. Excellent.
Yeah,
What's up, everyone?
So I got SJ joining us. She gonna do her little thing in a little bit. Let me just wrap up here with this market stuff. I'm almost done. Just looking at these bonds real quick. But I guess what I'm pointing out is that, as you guys can see, markets kind of take their own path. So even though you have these typical TA things, right, that you got in books or whatever, you gotta know what to do with it. The fact that it's in a book doesn't really mean anything. You gotta know what to do with it, and that's why I don't really prescribe or pretend to be like a TA person. Or like, none, none of that stuff really matters. Just make your money. That's all you really got to do. So that's what it is at the end of the day. But again, the bond market looks like it's getting ready to see some more pain to the downside after it dealt with all this volatility, right? And we know what the Fed is running up on, and we can see what they're trying to do, right? By diverting all the scared money to the big banks from the small regional banks. And the interest rate pain is going to definitely be one way to invoke that, right? By causing bank failures and whatnot. So these are just things to be aware of. This is kind of what's going on in the market. And let's take a look at commodities, food. This is cocoa, what they make chocolate from. And as you guys can see, we really haven't come down. Just really at all. Like, this market is another one where it's just prices are just elevated. The cost of living is just up. And this is the lowest point in time on this chart is 2001. Right? We're literally at all-time highs here. And this is not all the data. This is just what they have digitally. So, we're about to do a big ass and her inverted head and shoulders on chocolate. So, you know what I'm saying? Get your chocolate on if you're a chocolate fan. Not gonna look at milk. Let's see what we got here. Feeder cattle. Again, just high prices. No matter what chart time frame you're looking at. It's just what's going on. What do we got here? This is lean hogs. Again, just elevated prices. Coffee. Same deal. Elevated prices. I mean, it's just amazing that no matter what market we're looking at, live or just from the earth, prices are at all-time highs. What a coinky dink. Oh my God. What are the odds? Live cattle. Now we're looking at OJ. Oh, look, your orange juice. That isn't even orange juice because it's pasteurized. All-time highs. Sugar. But that's really like cocaine. all-time highs, but it's only 24 cents a pound, so get it up, right? I mean, what happens if this breaks out? You know how much sugar is in everything that you buy, and you don't even want it in there. It's crazy. Corn, look at this, all-time highs. Everything, all-time highs. Oats might be the only thing that's probably not at all-time highs. Off all-time highs, but at all-time highs relative to the recent bear market. I didn't even know that because I just don't look at oats like that. One of my first markets that I traded though. Rice, all-time highs. Soybeans. There's a dearth of wheat, so I don't actually expect that one to be the all-time high. So we'll see. I'll be surprised if it is at all-time highs. Soybeans. I mean, you should be staying away from soy anyway. Wheat. Yeah, not at all-time highs, which is not a shock because it's just wheat everywhere. You know, they try to make it seem like there isn't, but the markets know. I mean, this thing went all the way up to $14, and it's 50% off of that. So that's what's going on. You know, mind your P's and Q's. We're gonna get that guide out to you guys. It's really just me, but I'm working on it. It's gonna be a nice piece of work. You guys will enjoy it. So SJ, do your thing, girl. Let me shut up.
What's going on, everyone? I am here to shill. Not a coin, not anything like that. Thank you so much, Wales, for so graciously allowing me to come on and talk a little bit about the PulseChain tour.
Sure thing.
That's what I'm here to talk about. Hence the pirate flag. Yes, Yar. I am teaming up with the Captain RG3, Black Hexagon, and Bullish. The four of us are team PulseChain tour, basically. And we are, if you haven't heard yet, y'all, basically what I wanted to come and explain a little bit about, talk about is a lot of people probably heard about the Million Pulse Tour, which is what the KSB team was going to be doing. That has now become the PulseChain Tour. So we're working together. We are working with the with the KSB team. We're still going to be giving away. I believe Black Hexagon said that it's 2 million pulse at each event. I hope I'm not missaying that. But it's going to be amazing. We are going 2 million pulse.
Sounds like a lot, right?
Event. Yeah. I mean, come on. Pulse gets to, 50 cents someday, $1 someday.
I mean,
I can't imagine it won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think about because we've been here since day zero.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least some of us.
Since day zero.
Black Hexagon's in the chat to correct. 1 million PLS and 1 million PLS.
Thank you.
There you go.
There she is. Yeah. That's amazing. So if you check out Pulse, let me put the link in the chat. Let me do that real quick. PulseChainTour.com.
It's already there, girl.
Oh, look at you. My work is so difficult.
Yeah, you make it difficult. It's cool.
Oh, y'all. So yeah, go check that out. If you're going to be in any of those areas or want to come hang out in any of those areas, please do. I am super stoked to say that I am not going to be alone on the road. This bus is going to get converted into a PulseChain Tour ship bus. We're going to paint it. It's going to look amazing. If you want to sponsor, if you have a project and you want to sponsor any part of the tour, go to the PulseChainTour.com. You can see all the different sponsorship packages. And one of those includes getting your name on the bus, which is going to be really cool because even if it was just me, right? Even if it was just me in this bus, even now, without it being painted amazingly, right? Just the way it looks now, I get stopped everywhere. Anywhere I stop, people want to talk to me. They're like, what are you doing? What is this bus? This is so cool. Right. And I can't even imagine the attention we're going to get with this bus decked out with all these colors and it's going to look like a ship in the back.
And people are more aware of crypto now than before. So they might be like, is that crypto?
Yeah. I hope so. I wonder if
Different
there's
world.
some way we can, because we're still working on the logistics and the styling of how it's going to look. So,
Mm.
I kind of wonder if there's some way we can kind of like put a nod to that, so they do understand that yes, indeed, this is a crypto thing. So it'll be, so
Figure
it's
it
not,
out.
again, it's not just this bus, it's myself, and then there's going to be at least
It's a squad, isn't it? A
two
convoy?
Hexicans. Yeah, at least two for sure, I think, are going the whole way with me. And then there are several people, depending on which town we're going to and from, that are going to join along the way as they can. So I'm just over the moon about that. I'm really excited.
For sure.
Brenton, we're still waiting on the, she's already answering my questions. Goodness gracious. All right. I'm done. That's it. We're no, I just wanted a couple minutes, honestly, to just talk about it and just let you guys know that I think that this is going to be really something special. Like, this whole year is going to be awesome. And the fact that this tour, I helped RG with the presentation that he's doing. So there's the meetups, right? Which is going to be just kind of your typical, like, I mean, there's nothing typical about a Hexican meetup, right? But we're just going to hang out. We're going to gather, have dinners, have drinks, things like that for the meetup part. The seminars, right? That's where RG is going to be speaking. And the presentation that he's got put together, it's going to be fantastic. Whether you're a no-coiner or someone that's been in crypto for years, you are going to get value, because there are going to be all these different projects launching on PulseChain that are going to be there to represent. So, if you've been in crypto for a while, you want to come meet, mix, mingle with all these different project owners and founders and things like that. That's what's there for you. And then on the other side, on the flip side, the presentation that RG is doing really gives a great overview of finance in general. And I think you'd appreciate that, Wales. And goes into the RH ecosystem and not outside of it, like he
Right.
basically kind of takes you from, what is money, to here's a vertically integrated system that we are going to be, living within, so that we can escape centralized finance and escape the banks and escape traditional finance, and really just promote DeFi and what that is and what that means. And I couldn't be happier to be a part of this. I'm just so stoked, especially like the Black Hexican 100% is. I need to take some notes from her, because I've heard her speak about this already a couple times. And, she's been doing this with the guys for a while now. So she's so eloquently spoken and just has kind of like the elevator pitch down. So this is kind of thanks for letting me do my
makes perfect, as they say,
testing
right?
ground. Exactly.
That's
Exactly. Right. So yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to let you guys know, if you didn't know already, that that's what's going on. We're going from, let's see. Oh, and especially if you're in Northern California, that's our first big event. So we're doing the Hex cruise. RG is going to do the presentation on the cruise as well. We all just happen to be going before this cruise, or before the tour was put together. And then May 27th, 28th is the Dublin event. And Dublin's really, it's a good location, because it's kind of central to San Francisco, Santa Rosa, San Jose, Oakland. If you're in that area at all, please come hang out. It's going to be an amazing event. I'm really excited that that's where we're going to kick it off. And I grew up in California, not up there, but it's going to be something that I don't think anyone will want to miss this year. Like, this is going to be the big event to kind of hang out and see what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's got questions. You ask a question or two, but
lay him down, guys.
Yeah, that's kind of it. It is going to be such a treat. And we had a call this morning with some of the guys from Seattle. So if you're in one of these cities and you have, let's say, a venue that you have connections with, you have one of the big things that Black Hexican's been talking about is we really want to reach out to the college kids. So if you have any connections with any of the universities in any of these cities, get a hold of us, DM me, DM Black Hexican. The two of us are working really closely with so don't DM RG, because he's got so much going on. So she and I are kind of, going to take the reins in terms of getting people connected, making everything happen, depending on where it is that we're going. And yeah, I can't wait, honestly. Like, this is really kind of a crazy dream come true for me, in terms of the fact that I get to do something that I'm so passionate about and continue to spread the word and just like
For sure.
spend the rest of this year telling people how to DeFi and how that works and learn myself, right? Because I've taken a little break from studying things, and I did touch testnet. I got on V3 and did a couple things. I hadn't touched V2 really at all. I was just busy doing SciVive and busy with other things. So yeah, V3 came out and I was like, come on, SJ, gotta get out there and make things happen.
It's almost game time. Don't want to be slacking.
Exactly. So I don't want to be sleeping on that. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So the more I know, right, the better I will be at it, being able to explain it to other people.
100%.
And yeah, it's I had an interesting afternoon with some family members and friends, and mentioned crypto a little bit, and just the what's the word I'm like, just the past, like how people just kind of pass it off as nothing. It blows my mind that I can tell you.
Look, it's because you're too close. You gotta realize, even people in the community don't get it. We have literally all of the alpha. People think there's somewhere to go. They don't get that there is nowhere to go.
No.
And they think that when I make comments like that is me being combative. No, it's because you don't understand what's actually going on. Because there's finance and then there's cryptocurrency. And people cannot conflate the two, and they like to. And that's a personal problem. It's not a crypto problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these are things that as time progresses, they will become clear. Because we're over here talking about DeFi. We're not talking about DeFi. We're talking about cryptocurrency. Common misconception. What's happened is that Ethereum has allowed people to be able to facilitate financial transactions in a way that Bitcoin never could or would allow. That is all. Plain and simple. I mean, is that DeFi? Well, okay, but everything is cryptocurrency. Everything is DeFi. It's supposed to be. Because there's not supposed to be people involved. That's literally what cryptocurrency is for, peer-to-peer.
Yep. You and the code.
Yeah, so if there's people involved, that ain't crypto. And it's that simple. So, take it as it comes. But that's how it works. That's why when we look at HEX, we don't got to look at the dollar chart. Because that's literally the last thing that matters. Because if the network isn't growing, who cares what you buying?
Right.
Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Might as well go buy a dead coin. Same thing. So
yeah, so growing the network. That is the plan.
That's why you guys are going on tour. It ain't to talk about stocks.
Nope.
No. That's right. It's to destabilize that slave system, because it's not there to help us. If it was, we wouldn't have crypto in the first place. We wouldn't need it. So these are things that are very basic to understanding why you're even doing this tour. Who cares? Oh, another tour, big whoop. Nah, it's actually important. Because that is how people are going to become educated in the topic. Because the news ain't going to do it. You can only do but so many people at once. It's easier to get people to group up in one place and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And that's the point of a tour. So these are things that people got to keep in mind. These are things that we got to focus on, is educating people and educating them properly, not sending them to coin freaking ranking sites. Like, that's something to do. Because it's not.
Yep.
You're setting people up for failure. I don't care who you are. That's what you're doing. Period. That's simple. You don't hear me talking about them. Hell, they come and go all the time. So didn't one die the other day? One of them coin ranking sites, didn't they die the other day? I think one of them died the other day. Yeah.
That's true.
So, whatever. True. Hex still running nonstop.
I brought that up to one of the people at the lunch works for a video game company now that I used to work for, which is pretty funny. So they understand software, and I told them, I was like, going into the 4th year of 100% uptime, flawless operation, no hacks, no bugs, no nothing. That doesn't happen.
Nope.
It doesn't happen.
People do
It's
not.
insane.
It drives
it's
me
not
insane.
appreciated.
Yeah, it drives me insane that people don't even speak about that. It drives me nuts. It's like, when are you gonna mention that? You missed that part. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
Because if we're trying to virtualize money, wouldn't it being operational be like the most important thing? I don't know. Just saying. I don't know.
Code.
Just saying. Something to think about, people. All right, I think that's all we got, folks. You got anything else, SJ?
That's it. I appreciate it again.
You guys see the site.
Thanks for
Go
having
check
me.
it out. PulseChain tour.com for those of you who don't speak Spanish. Peace. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. That's it. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash D, everybody. My God. Hex.Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar cost told you.